The West team is going to be coached by Fred Schaus of Los Angeles, the East by Red Auerbach of the champion Boston Celtics. And here they are warming up on the floor now, the greatest basketball players in the world. On the West squad, which will be wearing the white jerseys, fellas like Walt Bellamy of the Zephyrs, Bob Pettit, Frank Selvey, Oscar Robertson, Wayne Embry, Cliff Hagan, Bailey Howell, Gene Shue, Elgin Baylor, Twyman, LaRusso, West. And on the East squad, in the dark, Shays, Russell, Knowles, Guerin, Arizin, Wilt the Still Chamberlain, Cousy, Heinsohn, Greer, Sam Jones, and Green.
It's simply the greatest walk-on in Big Ten history in any sport. The best rebounder MSU has ever had. He had 1,036 boards in less than 3 seasons. 14-year NBA forward, 4-time All-Star, Jumpin' Johnny Green.
The Durking on the left, tips one to Green, who dunks it. Durking tipped it from 10 feet out on the left, right into the hands of Green, coming down the lane and slammed it.
And Green doesn't miss. Pro basketball fans see a lot of finesse.
Now, in high school back in Dayton, Dunbar, I didn't play high school basketball, so it wasn't a case that, I had talent, I didn't have talent, and I went, in service and played and had a good year, and then that's when I started thinking about maybe I can go to college and play and do well.
Neil, this is an incredible story. John Green was less than 6 foot tall in high school. Then he had this terrific growth spurt when he was in the military, and suddenly has his growth spurt, becomes a standout basketball player. Your first season of varsity play, 1956-57, you started during the year, and Michigan State went on a great run late in the season, was a big surprise in the NCAA tournament, made it all the way to the Final Four, and wound up losing in the semifinal to unbeaten eventual champion North Carolina in triple overtime. And it was odd in those days, John, because the semifinals and the final and consolation game were played on back-to-back nights. And
yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I think North Carolina wound up playing Wilt Chamberlain's Kansas team the next night and winning another triple overtime game.
Exactly. And then we won our last 10 games, which allowed us to tie with Indiana for Big Ten championships.
Yeah.
And of course, since Michigan State hadn't gone to the NCAA, they hadn't gone. Indiana had gone since we went.
Right.
That it allowed us to go to the NCAA and represent the Big Ten that year. And, everything just kind of happened. It was like a magical season that happened. And, when you win and nothing cure a lot of ills than winning some basketball games. And that's kind of what happened with us. And, it did allow us to go to the Final Four. And, what a year.
Against North Carolina, I think you had close to 20 rebounds and 8 block shots in that game. And, of course, it was the 3 overtimes. But there was a shot by your teammate, Jack Quiggle, from beyond midcourt, I think. And of course, went in the basket. But they ruled it just after the buzzer. Otherwise, Michigan State would have been in the national championship game.
That is correct. And, today they have the clock where you can look to see was the shot released from the player at a certain time. They didn't have that then, so it was the opinion of the official that the shot was late before it left Jack Quiggle's hand. Now, I'll take a different view of that. I'll say the shot was in the air before the final buzzer went off, but it didn't happen. But
you also had the chance to have a long NBA career, John. And for a guy who didn't play high school basketball, we think you're the only guy in that situation who's a four-time NBA All-Star.
And Johnny Green spins one in from close range to tie the game at 44.
You know, right, I look back, my NBA career, because playing in college, I had, the NBA was not as big a deal then as it is now.
And watch how Barnes on the left takes out two men as a screen for John. Nice going.
So I didn't have any intentions of going playing in the NBA, but it kind of worked out where I was a number one draft pick of the New York Knicks and everything. And so things just kind of fell into place for me. And you're right, I did have a very nice, long NBA career, something that I had never dreamed of, and it was really wonderful to have.
Neil, there's a photo they have, and we used it in our book, Magic Moments, and John Green has gone up for a rebound, and he's holding the rebound near his waist, and his feet are up at the armpits of an Ohio State player.
Wow.
And I don't know what the verticals were measured at in those days, but people look at that, and for many, many years it was, he jumps like Jumpin' Johnny Green. So.
Well, when I was in service, that's kind of how I got the nickname. It was a player in service that was called Jumpin' Bill Manning, and he left and had to go. He was TAT on a ship, and I came in and played his position, and so I just kind of inherited, the jumping part, and it just kind of stuck with me. And a lot of times people don't know me until let's not use the jumping part.
Right.
The farther we move along and we become multiple generations removed from the playing days, the way things are reported. There was a command from NBA headquarters. We're going to show basketball footage, but we're not going to show anything prior to 1992. I was like, well, that people are going to watch basketball, and a generation of followers are going to be affected by this. And why wouldn't they let them know about what happened prior to 1992?
Johnny Green, an ex-Knick, did a fine job as Cunningham's replacement.
Here's Johnny driving again. Good. Beautiful follow-up by Green.